Hi, bye, yo!
Welcome to the Embarrassed by Night podcast celebrating Vietnamese American culture and beyond.
And hosted by two balding Vietnamese comedians.
Yeah, I tried to leave that part out this time.
Did you edit it out every time you do it?
No, I just keep it in.
You leave it in.
We don't have a good intro. Just let it rip. We're happy to welcome our guest for this episode. Please welcome Linh Tran.
Hey.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Filmmaker extraordinaire. You can check her film out, her feature, Waiting for the Light to Change, doing its festival rounds, and soon to be on...
Streaming platforms. Soon to be on the internet.
Fuck
yes.
yeah.
That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
technically,
Andy can finally...
Sorry, what?
So Andy can finally watch it.
Stop watching porn? Is that what you're implying?
No.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, because you didn't go to the screening.
I'm sorry I missed a screening. I apologize. I was busy doing literally anything else.
Oh, totally fine. I've heard that like 100 times though from other people. So
yeah, I'm not a good. I forgot. There was a reason though. I think it was comedy. It was probably comedy at the time.
Yeah.
I had a show or something like that.
Lynn, you just had your LA premiere, and that's why you're in town.
Mm-hmm.
How's your trip been so far?
it's been good. It's been hot. It's hot here.
Yeah, there's a heat wave right now. It was
Oh.
it was the rainiest season ever on record, or not ever on record, but like in the last like decade at least. And then we're like, oh man, it's gonna be like a really cool summer for a while. And then all of a sudden this heat wave hit, and we're like, oh, we're back to California weather. This is annoying, and especially here in the valley, it gets really really humid and annoying. And
It's not gonna stop me from wearing my favorite cardigans.
yeah, you're
You-
fully yeah.
You
I
gotta
get-
protect yourself from the heat.
So I purposely did not
Watch that film.
watch that film, research, get to know you, so I can ask you here, honestly, on the podcast. How did you start getting into filmmaking? What are your primary goals, and like, and what are you currently working on now that this movie is finished here?
This went back like a long way. I was born and raised in Vietnam, right? And I was like going to. I've always wanted to be here, I guess. So, I applied to
Hollywood?
college. No, not
North
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
No.
Because I always want to be in North Hollywood.
No, Hollywood crushes my soul. But I thought I wanted to be like a copywriter, you know, going
Nice.
to college, and I was late registering for classes, so the only thing that I could take was acting,
Oh, nice.
and it just led me here. I remember I wanted to do like theater for a little bit. I had like a communication major, and then when I went home and I was like telling my uncle, you know what, I think I'm gonna change this to like film studies, and he said, oh, so you're not doing anything serious?
Yeah.
That's how I started film.
Yeah.
I went to school and changed majors a couple times.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were late.
Yeah,
That's-
totally. Late in and like, you know, late to everything. I'm a late bloomer when it comes to like filmmaking as well. So I did some, you know, theory and history, and did some theater before that. And then after that, I went to film school in Chicago.
Where at?
Which DePaul University with the L.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
did go to DePaul University
W?
with a W before that. So people think it's like a
You just like
typo.
DePaul, yeah.
I didn't realize that there were two different
Yeah,
DePauls.
yeah. Most people like
The
don't
W
realize.
is more the bigger school, right?
I can't tell now.
Oh,
It's
man.
like they market themselves differently. It's really bizarre. Like people in Vietnam like know of the DePaul, but they didn't know that it was in the middle of a cornfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I came here. My mom and dad was like on the phone with me. They were like, "Oh, what's going on? Is it pretty there?" I'm like, "It's all corn. So corn here.
Corn can be pretty.
Corn is very pretty."
But it's also
like-
boring after a while, right? Like it's one field, and it's like over. Have you ever driven through from California to Chicago?
Hell no.
I mean, you go through all of Illinois and like Iowa and even Nebraska. It's flat and it's just corn for a long time. and it's really really intense. At first, it's like, the sunsets are pretty, like the flat land and the sky can be pretty.
Why did you drive all the way to Chicago?
For comedy? Yeah, not for the bit. That was a mistake. It was a mistake. But I wanted my car there when it's pretty much like my first time on the road. Tony Vinn, who's a comedian we've had on the podcast, he was headlining in Kansas City, and he like offhandedly said, "If you get out here, I'll let you open for me." And I was like, "Bet." So I just drove out there, and then I stopped by Denver and Las Vegas to check out the comedy out there. And by the time I got to Kansas City, he's like, "Well, you're here. I'm going on this little road trip. You can like host and open for me." He was co-headlining with another comedian, and then I went to Chicago, did my own thing there, and then got on the road with him, and that's how I started getting on the road.
God, the shit that we eat when we're starting out comedy, driving all the way to Chicago just to open up for somebody.
I had Panda Express, and I had diarrhea the whole trip.
Oh
after
no!
That. So literally the shit that we really was bad. It was quite literally bad. But yeah, so I've been to Chicago, and I've seen, I forgot it was DePaul or DePaul's campus. Is the one in inner city.
Yeah.
It's in the city. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they have a couple campuses.
Yeah. Chicago is an awesome city.
It is. It's too cold though.
Yeah.
I can't fuck with that.
The cold?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm wearing a cardigan now.
Yeah. I would rather be in Saigon in like May.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's got to be intense going from like Saigon weather your whole life to fucking Chicago.
It's cold. Even like this year when I was flying back, I was like, oh my God, it's May now. It's so hot in Saigon. I was there with Fred. It was like 100 degrees. Felt like 120 degrees. Again, I was like, I'm so excited to get back to Chicago. It's probably going to be like nice and warm. I got back, it was like 40 degrees outside. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I should have stayed in Saigon. Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually went from like Saigon to Chicago for that contrast, and then had enough data to be like, definitely the heat over Chicago.
Yeah, that was too much of a contrast. Yeah. Nah.
Come to California.
Yeah, I plan to. I plan to.
You just said that this city destroys your soul.
She has.
Oh, it's a part of the city,
And like, parts of her soul.
Parts of my soul.
So quick, you've been in LA now for how many days in a row?
Almost a week.
5 days.
5 days, yeah.
So, really quick, 2 of your favorite things and 2 of your least favorite things about LA.
Nice.
Oh my God. 2 of my least favorite things.
Right here, actually.
Or about your trip.
Left and right.
My favorite things, I feel like the coffee that I've had is generally very, very good. I had like 2 coffee every day since I got here.
Better than Saigon coffee.
No, absolutely not.
That's emphatic. You've been all interview, by the way. You're like, I'll stop you right there.
I like the parks. I like the parks. I it's hard to say, I like the friends that I have here. And 2 things I don't like. I can't say the heat. I do like the heat. And you don't have to be in the outside all the time. Yeah. So it's not bad. I feel like sometimes you go out on the street and it's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
I'm a Libra. I'm all about aesthetics. No, I'm just kidding, but I am.
I don't know you well enough. I'm like, what do I say?
Yeah. No, but like, sometimes you go out on the street and feel like, oh, it's kind of not taken care of as well. Like compared to Chicago, LA is a lot dirtier.
It's so much dirtier. And there's definitely major parts of Los Angeles, especially in between K-Town and Hollywood, right? There's that little
hood.
Yeah. But the streets are not maintained. The concrete is like overwhelming a little bit because of how ill maintained it is, and it just brings you down a little bit compared to like a suburban city, even any suburban city.
For what is it, like one of the top 2 most populous cities in the nation? The infrastructure is so
shit.
Yeah.
I got hit by a car on my bike, and I had to hire this lawyer to get some money. And the guy only specializes in bike accidents.
Wow.
Like that's his bread and butter. He only does bike stuff. because the roads are so fucked up that like constantly gets clients.
Yeah, there's enough.
Wow, he doesn't need to venture out of the bike
Bike law.
Yeah.
He's living his dream too because he's an avid biker.
Imagine if we were lawyers and we only dealt with comedy law. Like that would be the fucking shit to litigate stolen jokes or like copyright shit. Like that's so fucking funny, dude.
But even that sounds a little broad still.
Yeah. Because
what is comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
I gave up.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah.
There's something that you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
You know it when you hear it, but to define it.
Yeah.
What
tough.
is you first left Vietnam when you were how old?
I think 17.
17.
Went to
Okay.
college here.
17 and 18.
So you grew up. I was always curious about this. What is the most popular form of comedy in Vietnam right now?
Oh God.
Is it a man dressed up as a woman?
Because I will do it.
Because he loves that.
I think it's so funny.
Right now, I don't know right now because I've been living here for 10 years now.
Oh yeah, I meant when you were growing up.
Oh,
Sorry.
when I was growing up, I think so I'm from like the north and central of Vietnam, and I don't know if you know this, but like
What city?
it's called Hà Tĩnh. It's like the country's like it's shaped like an S, and wherever it's
Is
like
it north or is it close to? So Hue is in the center, right?
Hue is in the center. This is like a little bit up. Wherever you look at the map and wherever is the narrowest, that's where I'm from.
Nice.
Yeah, so like coastal.
Yeah, the train goes
hot
right by
as hell.
Yeah.
Just really hot, like hotter than Hanoi in the summers.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Even though it's by like the beach and everything, the breeze doesn't like help at all.
So most of the breeze that we get is from Laos. So there's this Laos wind. We call it Yaw Lao. Laos, like the wind from Laos, and it's just like dry, hot air just blowing in your face.
Like the people. No, I'm just...
Like what they say is like the rain, the Jungsan range, like mountain range.
Yeah.
They keep all the coolness over there, and all the heat is the only thing that gets released. Don't quote me on this.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, poetically it's beautiful, but geographically it may not fit. It may not be worth.
Yeah, so that's where I'm from.
The Lao wind. That's a really beautiful phrase. It's too bad it's fucking hot, but it's very poetic.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Vietnamese people think that the humor of the north side is very different from humor of the
That's what I've heard,
south side. Wait, what have you heard?
I heard that South Side is more like slapstick and very like obvious physical humor.
Yeah.
And Northern style is more like jiu puns,
Wordplay.
Yeah. Yes, that's completely true.
Yeah.
Like more like sarcasm. I feel like it's deeper and a little darker the north side. So
I think that's true based on like my personalities of like my friends whose families are from the north versus the south. Even back then, right? Like
we were obviously born in California, and so we had the humor that we got was Van Sun. You guys said Van Sun, and that's very Southern style humor, right?
Yeah.
Like very loud and animated.
Yeah, and I think that informs our humor a little, like what informs what we think of Vietnamese humor specifically, right? So growing up, I didn't realize that there was, I mean, that difference in Vietnamese humor existed because my parents were like, we would watch the Paris by Night or whatever these sketches that are very like they'll tell a joke. I love a Paris by Night sketch because they'll tell a joke. I don't know, whatever the joke is, it's a bad joke, right? Like the Lao wind. And they do like and they like
there's no subtlety.
Yeah, like the joke is like subtle, but they're like waiting for the audience to laugh, right?
Oh.
It's a very it's a sketch style that's very old school, right? Like almost like Abbott and Costello, right? Where you have like who's on first and it's like a very old style of comedy. But my family is all about like puns and wordplay. My brother and I would have like pun offs and stuff like that. So
Fucking nerds.
Yeah. Oh, at least I have. I have a brother. Your sister just bullied you.
It's very nice lady.
Very nice. This is very nice. But so like, not understanding what was Vietnamese humor, and then getting most of my humor from like American stand-up and American like SNL sketches, right? Like I got a wider breadth of understanding of what comedy was, which informs me now. Yeah, to this day, like realizing that there's different personalities and like cultural personalities in Vietnam is like something I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Which I find really intriguing, at least.
Yes, that's why, like, people ask me if I like direct comedy, and I'm like, I try, but I'm scared because like I don't know my audience, and comedy is so specific to cultures, and what might be funny to you might not be. What might be funny to me might not be funny to you. So I'm scared.
That's how. This is our profession. Like,
yeah. We sit here to split hairs, but figure out what's funny to why, in what context. Like producing the show has taught me a lot about comedy and what works in specific rooms and audiences. Like we've had to change our approach a little bit.
Yeah, if we're doing a show at a bar versus doing a show at a theater versus doing a show at a what are the
Comedy
other places
club.
that you can do?
Comedy club, outdoors.
On
Zoom.
backyard.
Like these are all different contexts, and your
Wow.
style has to change with every single context. Almost, yeah. And it's fun. It's like the idea that anything can happen at any time. That is intoxicating to me. Also, I'm an alcoholic, so we all drink, and it's also literally intoxicating to me.
That all sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you'll do it. I was just like, I also just now realized that I don't know that much about comedy or like stand-up comedy.
I don't know that much about
profession.
filmmaking, so we're in a good place, I think.
Good. Well,
It's so funny to me that when you talk about like your filmmaking background, it doesn't sound like you were even really remotely interested in it when you were like growing up. And then you're like, yeah, and I just signed up, and then I signed up for theater classes, and then I just started doing filmmaking. But where you're at right now with like a completed feature, doing festival rounds, that's just so funny to me that your approach to like your profession on the surface seems like it's like, yeah, whatever.
The accidental artist.
It's definitely feels like that. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit more background on like my childhood and my relationship with TV and movies. So once upon a time, my mom graduated from medical school, but then she had to like go back to get another like certification or something. And I was with my dad, and my dad was like, there was a period, if I remember correctly, he was unemployed, and he would just like rent VHS tapes, and we would just watch like TV series or movies after movies, and I still have some images in my head. And this was like when I was 4 or 5, and then suddenly I was in like elementary school, and I was like addicted to TV a little bit, but I got censored.
Wait, what were you guys watching?
You know, Chinese, Hong Kong TV series,
Yeah.
Taiwanese TV series. I didn't really watch movies that much, but
You got censored.
I got censored. Not like.
Oh, your parents censored it.
My parents, for some reason, my uncle told. I hope my uncle doesn't see this. My
Trust me,
uncle.
Nobody watches.
Trust me. Please do not worry about people seeing this.
That's really funny. Now I am so reassured. Thank you. I think my uncle told my mom and dad that they shouldn't let me see movies because like there's romance and violence and stuff. Like I don't need to like learn how to smoke or like have sex that early or I don't know like. And so I didn't get to like go see movies in theater or watch TVs that much.
Yeah.
We didn't have like Disney Channel until.
So you were watching a lot, and then it got cut off.
I was watching a lot, but I was 5 years old, like 4 years old, and then
Do you remember that? Do you remember being like, "What? How come I can't watch this anymore?"
I think it was like it wasn't like that regulated. It was an idea. And they're like, you shouldn't be watching this. And
So what was like when you were 5? What was like your favorite shit ever, and what did you get pulled away from?
Oh, I totally don't remember anything.
Okay, how about older than that, right? So after this quote unquote idea of censorship at like the toddler age, you continue to watch VHSs with your dad, right? I mean, or your family or whatever. Like you.
No, that was just like that one period of time when my dad was unemployed, and then after that, it was just not. Nobody was watching TV with me anymore. I had to study. Like I don't remember watching a lot of TV until like I was in high school, and I started like pirating stuff.
What'd you pirate on?
And
I think it's a lot easier to find on Vietnamese internet.
Yeah.
You just say Sam Phim, and then you put in a...
Yeah,
Oh,
Seven
really?
Free Online.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of Korean dramas.
Nice.
Like
Korean
everybody
dramas.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still sounds to me like you're so nonchalant about about filming. You're like, yeah, I used to watch some movies, and I stopped watching some movies when I was a kid, and then I started watching Korean dramas. But to like every filmmaker that I've talked to has always been like, yeah, I remember Royal Tenenbaums was like the film that I was like, I want to make something like this. But do you have anything like that when you were like, I really this changes your life?
I guess my friend's asking if I may hear that. Is there not a moment, but maybe like what was the impetus for your inspiration to get into film, and at what age? It doesn't seem like it's a young age. You said it was later on, right? So what was that?
So I was a freshman in college, and I was working in theater, and there was like I had a crush on this guy.
That'll fucking do it. That'll do it every time.
Yeah.
Respect.
Thank you. I feel like I do that thing was like I collect like hobbies and interests from other people. But
Yeah.
So I have a crush on this guy. He's like he looks like my grandpa. Like he has a mustache. And so on all these school
Was he like
plays,
a teacher?
No. He's an upperclassman. And he was, because of his appearance.
She was a freshman and he was a junior with a mustache. Like that's all it took, a junior with a mustache. And now we have art.
You know?
So, I'm sorry.
Life is strange.
Yeah, what happened? So you want to impress this guy?
So, I didn't even, like, want to impress him. I'm more like, I have a crush on you, but like, I'm going to watch you from afar kind of person.
Yeah.
Like I'm not forward or anything like that. And this guy, he's in a lot of theater, a lot of school plays, and whenever there's a narrator that narrates the story, he would be the narrator.
Oh, that's hot.
Dog, no.
Narrators, they have this like
A gravitas.
Yeah.
They have a certain gravitas to them. It's very like, this is official.
they're telling you what the story is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
They're the storytellers.
he's acting.
It is acting.
Yeah, it's all, no, we can do this if you want, and James Earl Jones will...
Why are you so attractive all of a sudden? What happened?
It's like Bruce Buffer, what's the guy's name from the boxing?
Bruce Buffer?
Yeah, let's get ready to rumble! Except you throw a mustache on him and she's in.
I like don't get any of these references.
Okay,
but
I'm sorry.
I take your word for it. I take your word for it.
Alright, so he was a narrator in all these school plays, watched from afar, and then what happened?
And this one day I just like came to him and was like, hi. And you know, I was a freshman from Vietnam. I like did not know how to strike conversation. I was just like, what's your major? And he's like, film studies. And that's the only conversation that we ever had. And I started taking film classes.
Lynn,
This is so funny.
Lynn, you base your whole life on a guy with a deep voice and a mustache.
That might have been the truth, yeah. Yeah. But when you phrase it that way, it sounds really bad.
No, it's not. Actually, we don't know each other. Out of any guest right now, that is my favorite inspiration story. How did you get into comedy? How did you get into podcast? How did you? No, this is the best one.
You look
Thank
like my
you.
grandpa.
I think it's just the mustache. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't have said that.
Why?
It's just the mustache.
Why shouldn't you say that? Look like your grandpa.
I don't think he actually looks like my grandpa. I think my grandpa looks better.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Your grandpa, I don't care how hot your grandpa was, he wasn't able to inspire you to make films.
Indirectly.
Indirectly,
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah. Her grandpa's so hot that, yeah. That makes sense. Wow. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's a very awesome story.
Thank you. I was very honest. So I started taking classes, and I was like, oh, this is actually cool. I thought I wanted to be a film critic, and then I hung out with some friends. And I just realized how many movies they watch. Like it seems whenever somebody talk about movies, I'm just like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like pretty much like now when you guys like reference, I'm still learning. So I was like, fuck, I have a lot to catch up on. So like I just started binging. I started watching movies in 2017 or 2016.
Damn.
And it's just
So
like
you dropped the Korean dramas and you went straight cinema.
yeah,
cinema.
never ever looked back. Never looked back to Korean dramas. I still like secretly enjoy them. But I feel like, you know
You
what?
should never look back, but now you say that. And then in the same breath, you said you secretly enjoy them. So you have looked back.
I think about them.
that-
You think about them.
Is that meme of the guy holding hands with the girl and then looking back over his shoulder?
Yep.
K-dramas, cinema.
Yeah.
Who says K-drama cannot be cinema?
I'll say it.
I don't.
I'll say it if you want. That's what.
I don't really
If
watch.
you're asking, yeah, I'll
I think
say
isn't
it.
in Korea there's like a pretty distinct like difference between K-drama actors and cinematic actors.
There's overlap. I'm sure there's overlap. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure
There is.
K-drama actors jump up to like harder cinema.
Yeah, but that was like varsity, junior varsity.
I don't know. I mean, there is a very hierarchical thing with K-pop at least. That's what I understand. But I don't know about acting. But it seems like I've seen some K-dramas which I don't even remember. But I'll see them in like in Parasite. Some of those actors have been in some K-dramas. If I recall correctly. And have you ever seen Minari too? Some of those actors have been.
Mirai.
Yeah. That's when I say it in my head. That's how I hear it. But
I didn't say it right. You didn't say it right.
Like the Steven Yeun?
Yeah.
Steven Yin.
Oh.
Steven Yin's Mirai. You guys gotta pronounce it right.
Yep.
The Korean is so beautiful.
It's getting good, yeah.
Yeah. The Duolingo's really working.
Duolingo.
My Dua Lipa.
Yeah, you do. Is that the app you're using? I mean, you get the wrong
Yeah,
app.
Dua Lipa. I'm
The
just
Dua
listening to
Lipa's
Dua
app.
Lipa songs.
In Korean?
Yeah, and they're getting really good at
Korean translations of Dua Lipa? This is all I'm learning Korean.
Yeah, dude, I'm on level 6.
Are you really like on Duolingo?
I am.
For what language?
German.
Why?
I'm coming up on a year now. It's because I was at work and my boss was like, he's trying to count to 10 in German. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But he got it faster than me. And I was like, trying to figure it out. And he like rubbed it in my face. He was like, I don't know, you thought you were good with languages. So ever since then, I've been secretly learning German. So in the off chance when someone who speaks German comes up in the presence of me and him, I will be able to have a fluent conversation with them.
This is the equivalent, like if you were to become like a German novelist,
Yeah.
this is the equivalent origin story to your film. Just such a petty, silly reason why
Oh
you
yeah,
just got fell into-
Yeah.
I'm about to hit a year streak on. He's not gonna watch this, so fuck this. But her uncle might, so I gotta be careful. But yeah, I'm getting there, man. I'm starting to get
A
conversation.
year now?
Oh yeah, almost a year.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I started German too. I remember the first thing you learn is Kaffee und Milch.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I learned.
Yeah.
Coffee with milk.
und- Yeah.
Coffee and milk.
Yeah, and in the same lesson they have like it's like Kaffee und Milch und Tee und Brot is bread. That whole like Kasse is cheese.
Doesn't German just sounds like you're doing a bad impression of a German person?
Yeah.
Well, our German is. I don't. Have time. You know what's hard is this is like a when you have very petty goals, very often that pettiness is a lonely road. So I don't have people to talk German to. I'm just angrily learning German by myself. You know what I mean?
You gotta meet some awesome German Vietnamese
Yeah.
people.
I met one at the show, one of our shows actually.
So cool.
Yeah, she's really really cool.
German Viets are so fucking
Yeah,
cool.
German Viets are very very cool.
None of the trauma.
Well, they have it, but they have it all like it's just like it's
No, because
controlled.
German Viets they're from the north, right?
Ah,
They're mostly over there because of a work exchange in the 80s.
really?
Yeah, they didn't have. It's not so much
Escape
a refugee.
diaspora.
A war refugee experience. It's more
Huh.
of a work refugee.
Is that the majority?
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know
It's
that.
on Wikipedia. I needed to know. Yeah, most of that's why in the doc, those two Germans, I asked them, "How angry are you?" And they're like, "We are not angry. We're not angry people."
Oh, we are not happy. We will never be happy, but we are not angry.
We're content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your cute boy with a mustache.
LOL.
Yeah,
Can't believe that story is now out
it's
in
a great
the
story.
open.
It's a really funny origin story. It's a really really good
Thank
one.
you.
It's so relatable to me. I'm like the music and the art that I've consumed in the name.
Same here.
Oh my god, some of it's really bad, some of it's really good, but like,
That's why dating apps are good.
yeah, I get so much music from dating apps. I discover so much music from like hot girls. Like this hot girl is like, likes this. I'll check it out, and it's like 50-50 okay.
They have that on like Tinder. You can put like your top favorite artists. Your one favorite song.
And so I don't know, for some reason, Bumble has listed like Bruno Mars as one of my favorite artists. And no knock on Bruno Mars, but he's not one of my favorite artists, right? Like he's good, but like they're like, oh, you guys both like Bruno Mars and Taylor Swift. I'm like, that could be anybody.
Wow.
That could be anybody in this world.
Hey, no.
experience.
The thing is, like, nowadays to have, I feel like to be like a hardcore Taylor Swift fan, that takes courage. Because most people nowadays are like, I just had like coffee with two people yesterday. They were like, yeah, I feel like my taste is like indie basic, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. You've been in LA for too long.
what? Well, but that's also me. I'm also into indie.
Me too. That Paper Kites, when you guys walked in earlier, that's a girl in college put that on her Tumblr. I discovered.
Tumblr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I love it. Tumblr is cool. I was on Tumblr too.
Oh yeah, I was all over Tumblr.
I sincerely thought that you just like turned on the TV to whatever channel because it sounded so very, very generic.
No. It's the Paper Kites' new song. Their newer stuff is a little bit more generic, but they like their first EP that came out was like super indie basic. Like I mean, I'm very indie basic. I'm
So Starbucks rock.
Not every Starbucks is the same, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes Starbucks will have a little bit poppier stuff that I'm not into, but the indie folk stuff I'm all about. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I think Taylor Swift is pretty great.
I think she's great. I think she's
Yeah.
really, really good.
She's number one for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very,
I can't relate.
Yeah, but I would say that Lynn, you saying that is, very brave of you.
Thank you.
But you set that up. But you set that up for yourself to make yourself look brave. That's dirty. That's a dirty trick.
Well, was that convincing? It was so
It was so convincing.
Thank
Dude,
you.
she's such a storyteller, dog. She she sets it up and then she fucking hits it out, bro. That's so good.
Well, thank you.
That's classic story structure. Very, very well done.
That comment means the world to me because I still wake up some days, I'm like, what am I
Quit.
doing with my life?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the courage to quit.
You're too deep into it?
No. But quitting means like I don't do anything. You know?
Yeah, that's
I thought about
it's easy.
something. I thought about getting a part-time job at a nail salon.
You told me about
Love
this.
Yeah.
Love
Are
this.
you
love
still
this.
are you still on that path?
Well, I haven't gotten the job yet.
Oh, you have to apply.
You applied.
Well,
You've already applied.
I actually
You have the credentials. You're Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want a job, I can get you a job at a nail salon.
Really?
Yeah, but you have to move to Fresno.
Yeah.
To where?
It's like 3 hours. It's Central California. It's not a good place.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. Location means a lot to me.
Yeah.
That's
you
why
live
I'm
in-
here.
Yeah, you live in
You're not
Chicago.
driving to Fresno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom owned Fantasy Nails in Campbell, California.
Campbell?
Campbell.
You know, my uncle lives in Campbell.
Oh, really?
I've been to Campbell.
Maybe he's gotten his nails done at Fantasy Nails.
Fantasy Nails. Got it. I might. Yeah. I have that like area like downtown Campbell.
Oh, downtown Campbell's hella fun.
That's like
Right.
I feel like that I have the picture in my head. I was
But
there.
the Bay Area is good for there's a lot of Vietnamese people there. So if you want to move to the Bay Area to paint nails, that's a very viable option.
It's also a pretty good indie filmmaking scene in San Francisco.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, realistically, yeah. But you're painting nails ironically.
San Francisco's like expensive.
What do you mean?
Chicago.
Let me ask you before why do you want to paint nails? What's the source here?
Let's get back to that.
I think it's because I want to make some cash.
We're sitting here waiting like, oh yeah, there's a deep, rich history.
Yeah, my
and
aunt painted nails for years.
and
I was watching her as a kid.
I wrestled with the idea of being a stereotype, as well as finding my own identity in this culture.
It's like, no, I saw a guy on the bus who had a nice mustache and pretty well made.
And I was like, if I can make money doing that, I'll do that.
You would never let the mustache go.
I don't think we should. I don't think we should.
Challenge accepted.
I'm picturing him in my head, and he's very dapper.
Yeah, and his voice is like a warm blanket on a cold day.
Wait, so why manicure though? Is it because the Vietnamese connection?
Yeah. I mean, I have some friends who are Vietnamese. We help each other out. They told me that the place they work at is pretty nice. I honestly I feel like it's kind of like probably a good place to just hear people gossip. I love hearing people gossip. It's like one of the things that I love to do. Yesterday I was at the flea market, and and I was browsing and I heard, "You are so stubborn. If you do this, how can I help you?" I turned around and I whipped my head around when I saw this woman, like a middle-aged woman, and with this girl who was like very heavily makeup. So I just kind of like got to the area that is closer so that I could hear more of what the drama that's going on. But I think they saw me, so they kept their voices down. It was
You blew your cover?
Sneaking is not a skill of yours.
Yeah. I'm just not good at, not making myself.
Hell obvious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're like,
Say what? Say what?
Also, my eyes are like, just just trying to analyze everything in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want like a job that is like giving me something. I give it something, but it's not taking a lot of like mental energy, you know? Because being a filmmaker is so much mental energy already.
Yeah.
But you know what my mom said? My mom said, "I don't believe that you're gonna take a part-time job at a nail salon. You are I don't think so. I think if you do it, I'm gonna do a headstand." She can't do a headstand.
I mean, incredible. She
wait, so
Yeah.
you mean this in that your mom's like,
doesn't believe you.
She doesn't believe.
that job is below you, or you don't, or she's saying
She's
that
not the type of person.
you're not the kind of person.
I think what she means is like she thinks that I think that job is below me. You know?
Really?
Because also I think she thinks that I'm striving to be someone very important, and just like any other Asian parent, and
You're firstborn, right?
I'm firstborn, and my mom's a doctor. Her family, a lot of doctors and nurses, and they all have stable jobs. I think I'm the only like member of my family that doesn't have like a stable job.
You're the freelancer.
I'm a freelancer. It's been a very, very slow year. So if you have any job, please let me know. I'm in hustling mode right now. But
Yeah.
I give you a job.
yeah,
I can't do that.
That was cool.
I'd be happy if you want to hire me again. Just let me know. You have my phone number.
I don't have. I have zero opportunity for you. And actually, Fred, if you're looking, bro, I can help. If you need an assistant or anything.
Well, hustling here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll take a 20% cut.
I'll take 20% of it. You just like I'll help. I'll organize the folders for you, and then you just go into Adobe and just fucking do your thing. I'm like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
Wow.
So you're an assistant editor.
Yeah.
Assistant.
Coffee? Eat coffee?
Yeah, when we were in Vietnam, like I was drinking like 2 coffees a day, and I'm like, would rise up from my seat like, oh, I think I need a coffee, and Fred would be like, do you need coffee money? I was like, yes, please.
It was in the budget.
Yeah, you know.
Back when we had a
You
budget.
act a lot just like my mom. Like I'm going out with friends and she'd be like, "You need some money to like buy coffee and treat your friend, cause don't be so stingy." My mom thinks I'm very stingy.
Are you?
Hating. Do you guys say hating?
Hatin.
Hating?
Yeah.
Like think
Like you're like the city that you're from?
What do you mean?
What's
Wait. Hating is
Hatin.
hating. Yeah.
Yeah, hatin. Yeah.
That's cheap, right?
Yeah, like frugal. Like
Mhm.
cheap. Yeah,
Hatin.
cheap.
Okay. See, Andy and I have these like
Hating.
old Vietnamese words that we still aren't sure if they're still in use because we're learning like California Vietnamese,
Yeah.
Which is dope.
which is outdated as fuck.
Yeah.
So I have to like double check when I hear.
I mean, the idea that it's outdated is obviously a result of the schism, right?
Yeah.
So I think of it as co-evolved. You know what I mean? So languages evolve, and just because there was a point where they diverged doesn't mean that it's like an old language because it came from at a certain point it was one language, and now it's dialects.
Okay, but that doesn't keep me from getting made fun of
In Vietnam.
when I try to go on a date with a girl in Vietnam
Oh no.
Yeah.
and I use the wrong words.
Yeah.
What did you? Tell us more details, please.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Actually, the one that really sticks out is more of I was made fun of for my name.
Oh.
Oh,
by a girl.
That's mean.
Did you still smash though?
No.
Ah! How dare she? How dare she make fun of
We
you?
went 2 dates. She's like-
2 dates?
we went 2 dates.
On what? On which one did she make fun of your name?
I think this was like in between we were chatting. And I was like, yeah, my
Okay.
name's Van Lang. She's like, people aren't named that.
How did it make you feel?
Stuck with me forever.
You're still bringing it up now.
I'm doing a documentary about it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the information is repeated multiple times in the documentary as well.
Yeah. I love
in
it.
the voiceover,
Yeah.
in 2 different interviews.
So this girl, I wonder what she was thinking. Like her name wasn't great either.
Sorry, fool. Sorry, my
Basic
name's-
ass bitch.
Lynn actually taught me a lot about Vietnamese names. That they're
What did I say?
just about like how I used to think that Vietnamese names are just like Hương or Hong or just simple, but there's like you can add variables to it, or
They're multipliers. They're
modifiers.
Yeah, modifiers. Yeah.
Like what you
Mine
said.
is mine is Mỹ Linh.
Maylin. What is Maylin?
Mỹ is America. It's Mỹ mean beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah. So and Lin actually
Is it Lin or Lin?
It depends on what
The mood.
dialect you're speaking.
Lin is army, right?
Lin.
Lin.
No, Mỹ Linh.
Maylin. Your name is Maylin. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
my
Lin,
name's Mỹ.
Lin is army.
Yeah. Okay.
Lin is
so,
army,
So
yeah.
Maylin. What does Maylin mean?
So I also took a year of Chinese, and
Because
they
there was a
say
guy with a mustache.
Chinese guy with a mustache who looked just like your grandpa.
no. No, this was a requirement. My life is not completely based off of like,
Mustaches.
yeah.
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like your life is very heavily based on mustaches.
Well, no comment.
Okay. All right. So you
Yeah, but
took a year of Chinese.
2 years of Chinese, and in the class they say the lin that means the jingling sound of like jewelry. But I recently found out that just like by just look up Vietnamese instead of Chinese, it means like sky or heaven.
In Chinese or in Vietnamese?
Vietnamese.
In Vietnamese means
So
heaven.
beautiful heaven.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a really nice name.
That's powerful.
So now I go by Linh Jung, so it's just heaven. No beautiful.
Straight up heaven.
Hard to live.
It's
up
just a
to.
place.
Yeah, it's a place that is called heaven. It could
A massage parlor.
Like
It's a nail salon. She's worked that shit.
not a bad idea, honestly. Massage parlor as well.
Yeah.
What's your Vietnamese name?
Lac Tong.
What's that mean?
I don't know if it means anything.
Lac means tasteless, right?
Yeah.
No, that's lat.
Lat. Oh, I thought it was with a C.
L-A-T.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So glad you're here. You guys always bullying me in Vietnamese, dog. I need an advocate.
I learned something.
Yeah. Lack is like lost, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I feel
That's
like
powerful.
lack also means like wealthy or happy? Happy.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. Happy and Tong was smart, like Tong Min Tong.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
then so Lac Tong, I think it's like just
Wandering wisdom?
So my parent, actually, one time I remember my mother talking about this. So like, there's like they said they wanted layers on it, so they wanted the multiple layer like lac. It's just like it's a common Vietnamese name, lac, right? And then so lac tong, like the sound of it, and they also thought that lac tong was like rich and smart, right? The superlatives. And then my father also says like if you ever get lost, like you're gonna use your intelligence to find your way back.
Wow. That's so deep.
So, are you still lost right now? Or are you,
Whatever.
when are you
Wow.
going back to
He's-
dentistry school, man?
He used to hit me, so I don't know. Also, there's the mixed messages, you know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's like that melodrama. Like we were talking about this earlier. That Vietnamese people can be very melodramatic,
Oh, yeah.
especially art. I mean, imagine being like being Vietnamese and then losing the war. Like how melodramatic that is, right? Like that's like extra melodramatic. So I think that my father's drama is I like that a lot. I like how funny it is sometimes, and I like how like intense it is sometimes. I can draw from it what I need. So I like that.
Yeah, it's good. There's only one good way out of it is to make it funny.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's heavy, right?
Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. Laughing to keep from crying.
Yes. Like Old Boy.
Or else you're just gonna be singing Gailan forever.
Oh, I would love to just do like dude. You know what we should do? We should organize a Viets entertainment and have a Gailan karaoke night.
Oh my god.
Oh, tough.
Yeah, that's
Tough.
an incredibly difficult singing style.
Yeah.
Like I can't even really sing "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy.
I love karaoke.
Nice.
Yeah. We just went to a film festival like last week,
Mm-hmm.
and there was an impromptu karaoke party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever you in any group and you see the Filipinos, they're just so good at it.
Yes.
Filipinos are so
and they're so
good.
on top of it. So there's this Filipino filmmaker.
Love
He was in
Filipinos.
charge of the whole thing, and
You
they
want
turned-
somebody like that in charge.
You want a Filipino in charge of karaoke.
Yes.
You want a Filipino in charge, and then you
Yeah.
want it at a Korean establishment.
So you get that smoked meat.
Yeah. So you get
Soju.
Filipinos organize a karaoke, Koreans will build the building, and Vietnamese people will attend. Like that's a karaoke trifecta right there. That's a dream team, dog. We'll make it fun. We got the vibe.
We'll show up in
yeah.
mooch.
Yeah, dude. That's how we do it, baby.
We turned this theater.
Which one?
But we were in Colorado, so
Oh,
we turned the theater that they screened movies during the day into like the karaoke venue.
Nice.
'Cause there were like the mics there, and there's like the projector and everything. So the karaoke screen is that big.
I
ass
love that. That's so
screen.
sick.
Yeah, it's called Uray International Film Festival. I'm plugging it here right now. I'm gonna
Check it out, guys.
I'm gonna hang out with those guys from the festival later.
Nice.
That's sick. Because you were saying that you're currently showing it at Dances with Films, which is like a very Hollywood. I mean, it's a small film festival. It's very Hollywood. They have like a red
Yeah.
carpet event, and you were pretty over that.
So yeah, this is not your first film that's made the festival rounds.
I had a short that was making the festival round earlier, and now I'm going with Waiting for the Light Change. But I actually was in the festival in Colorado for another one. So I made another short film after the feature film. It's called Video Funeral. I shot it in Chicago. It's a Vietnamese film with footage from Vietnam.
Damn.
Yeah.
Cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, so doing a couple right now.
Yeah.
In your current film, Waiting for the Light to Change, it's not necessarily a Vietnamese film.
It isn't. It doesn't have an ounce of Vietnamese. I mean, yeah, it is Vietnamese because I'm Vietnamese, but
Would you feel an obligation as a Vietnamese filmmaker to make it Vietnamese?
Excuse me.
I don't feel the. I actually I'm a little bit anti like that. Like, cause to me, what right do you have to speak for other people? You know, so like I don't. I feel like reason why I'm like, oh, I'm watching this movie, but why are they explaining this as if they're talking to a white person? You know, like, I don't really like that. But like I feel like we.
I think we're beyond that, right?
No,
Have you seen
I don't think
you saw
so.
Tourist Guide to Love, right?
Oh, we watched that together.
We scrubbed through it together.
Yeah.
We were working on the doc when it came out. Did you finally see it?
I got more into it, and I mean, the first time we talked, I was like a couple minutes into it. I had to stop. I got maybe 5 more. I'm like, it's so, I have to.
It's really insulting.
I have to get really high, I think, and I might have to record myself to do a live reaction to force myself to watch it, because on my own, I'm just like, this is not worth any of my time.
No, I don't think anybody needs to watch it or watch a reaction of
Yeah,
it.
but it's the only reason I can engage myself, to have like a little motivation, a bullshit motivation to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, see, that's interesting that you say that, but I still feel like an obligation as a comedian, and this might be because of Dat Fan, but I feel an obligation to...
Your dad's name?
Dad Fan.
Dad Fan, yeah, I got it.
I still feel like a little bit of an obligation to speak my experience as a Vietnamese American in my comedy.
So that's different.
Is it different?
It is different in the way you just say my experience, right?
Yes.
Because your art is I don't want to use that word. Comedy, stand-up comedy is
You're fucking skis.
No.
Yes,
don't,
100.
Don't.
No. Like comedy, it's like, that's exactly the point. What you're trying is like, that's it. Yeah. So go ahead.
But like you are there interacting with
Art. Your art. Sorry. Go ahead.
Your little skits.
That's a trigger word. That's the biggest comedy trigger word.
I just like don't. I feel like use the word art right now. It's kind of like interesting. It's not specific enough, so that's why I don't like using the word. There's nothing to do with comedy, stand-up comedy.
Comedy, I think, is a craft. I think it's a craft. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think filmmaking is a craft. I
Yeah.
see myself. I would like to like see myself. I would proudly say I'm a craft woman,
Yeah.
and I would be like very like cringe when I say I'm an artist.
You respect art too much, right? Because art is like nebulous, and it's an idea that like art has. It's the same thing we said about comedy earlier. You recognize it when you see it, but it's hard to define. Art is similar in that regard, right? And I think of stand-up comedy as 90% craft, and eventually, once you get that craft done, you can start playing with art.
I think that's the same thing with filmmaking as well.
Yeah.
But somebody I met recently also said that I'm like still processing this. This is a very different stance from my stance, which made me feel a little embarrassed when I call myself an artist, which I sometimes. No, sometimes.
Depending on who you're talking to.
It's really fucked up if you do, because you immediately told him that he wasn't. So you calling yourself an artist is really fucked up. It's very evident here, the power dynamic that you place on Fred. I agree with you, but like, I mean, it's kind of funny.
Okay, I don't even do comedy anymore.
It is an art. There's slices of art in the craft, right?
Yes.
But it's so.
But there's a goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to get a laugh, or else you're being crazy.
Yeah.
So that it's not just a pure art.
Yeah. So maybe like if you're a table maker, you need to make a be able to make
Yeah,
a
it needs
table,
to
right?
it needs to hold shit.
Yeah.
Picasso drew on napkins, right? He drew on napkins, and his craft was airtight before he. I mean, not before, but like in addition to being an artist, right?
What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Cubism.
So deep.
But let's go back to that though. So I feel an obligation to tell my Vietnamese American, at least like portray a Vietnamese American in a way that doesn't make us look bad.
Well,
Because of that fan, you said. Right?
Because of that fan. I think it's because of that fan. You know that fan?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's something a little bit different from between what you just said than what you asked me, because you're interacting with the audience, right? And you kind of like your set. I feel like the content comes mostly from your experience, so you have that direct connection with the content that you're delivering to the audience. And with us, I mean, you know, somebody could give me a script that somebody else wrote, and I'm like, oh, this is a story, a Vietnamese story. What does that mean? I am a little wary when, like, you know, I'm given that kind of material, or, you know, something that I don't know as well. So I always say I tell stories of Vietnamese characters, and I try to make it as like authentic as possible. And it's about the character, and if it's like specific enough, it's very universal, and every single Vietnamese person who watch it can relate to it. But you know, when you like kind of like make this like mission for yourself to like, oh, I'm gonna tell this community like story, like you are just in this little corner of the community, like you don't know like what this like 2 miles from you, like how they live, how they eat, you know.
Yeah,
it's
I guess my thing was more about like portrayal. Actually, I don't know what I was talking about, because they are very, very different.
Yeah.
What your art is and my whatever is.
Yeah.
If I.
Yeah. Go ahead.
There's a similar thing they do, like in acting, right, where they say that there's a class I've taken, and there's a certain, I guess like a school of thinking about acting where instead of thinking about like trying to convince people of the character you think it should be, you should be yourself authentically with the words, and then bring that out.
Yes.
Right. So it's the idea of like, I have a goal in mind versus I'm gonna be myself and then express these characters to these words with who I am. So that Vietnamese-ness, in a sense, if we talk about like being Vietnamese an artist, that Vietnamese-ness comes out naturally.
Yes.
If it does at all, or it may not. But the point is not to funnel before you provide the art. Like, you don't want to have that filter before you provide the art.
Yeah.
You want to do the art, and if it comes out, it comes out authentically.
Yeah.
And that honesty and authenticity, that's where art will eventually come into play.
Yeah, and it couples specificity. Like I feel like the experience of like the Vietnamese community, or like a Vietnamese person, is so nuanced that like I feel like you can only like inch towards that, and not like do that thing when you say you funnel it before.
Like when we say like beef is a really good, when I say beef is a really good example of the Vietnamese American experience, it's the specificity that we're talking about. And that allows me to say, okay, I don't think it was intentional. I think they were just telling a story. Like, they're not going to be there like, oh, we want this character to play League of Legends. What they did was we wrote a character, and oh, dude, it makes sense that he would play League of Legends on this TV show. You know, it makes sense that he would break an egg. This is who he is. This is who he is. We're not here to try to represent Asian Americans. And that's the strength of beef, in my opinion. They never have this overarching idea. It never gets like heavily handed to us or spoon-fed to us. This is the Asian American experience. It's a story, and these are Asian American characters, so they're going to do Asian American things.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Character happens to be Asian American, right?
They happen to be Asian American.
Yeah.
And that subtlety is way more powerful, in my opinion. And I think I'm glad that you brought that up because I think comedy comes from that place as well. Really good comedy, at least, comes from that place as well.
I think it is timeless as well, because eventually I feel like I was talking to someone about this the other day. Like we just recently we were given voice very recently. So like we've been suffering for so long. So the first thing that comes out is like all this trauma porn. Trauma first, complaint, anger, all these things first, and then we will get like over this point.
Yeah.
And then we'll get
the
to
next step also is beefcake.
And he's already there. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's already halfway there.
We got that with Scott Lee.
Kung Lei.
Oh yeah. Kung Lee, he goes by.
He goes by Kung Lee?
Kung Lee, yeah.
I don't care what he goes by, dog. That dude is off his goddamn rocker.
Yeah, he's insane. We're running out of time, but
Okay.
is there anything that you would like to plug or let our 14 listeners know about?
We're up to 14?
Yep.
I mean, I guess my feature is coming out
Hell yeah.
soon this fall. So I'm gonna plug that.
Nice.
Waiting for the Light to Change. I watched it in the theaters. It was a fantastic film. I didn't get a chance to tell you that
Well,
in
thank
person.
you.
It was a real good time. Very.
Was it funny? I wasn't there.
I
I didn't watch it.
Where'd you go?
I went outside, smoked a cigarette.
You smoked like 2 American spirits.
Oh my god, is this movie 7 hours long?
That was like.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, people were like really responding to certain scenes,
Yeah.
like orally responding to
Okay.
some moments that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I could never tell like how the audience would react because the first time after we made it and we saw it, we thought it was so depressing. And then first crowd was like not that many reactions, and then we had like a full house once, and people were roaring.
Nice.
They thought it was really funny. So
I can't fucking wait.
so I funny, maybe not in the way that you're expecting it to be, but
I've watched a lot of comedic things. There's like
this
a lot.
wasn't intended to be funny at all. It was just funny
Intended-
because it was cringe.
Oh.
Yeah. Right? It was cringeworthy, so it was funny.
Awkward funny.
There were
Awkward funny, yeah.
the characters are very emo, and that's what's funny.
Yeah.
Character funny is very funny. Character funny is very, very, very funny to me. It's very Groundlings versus UCB kind of like improv. Like character funny is really, really enjoyable to me.
This is very far from Groundlings. But I'm glad I got to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's
Thank
worth.
you.
Waiting for the light to change. Is there an official release date?
No.
Okay. Just
Coming soon.
follow her on Instagram. You'll find out what it is. Right?
Yes, follow me on Instagram, please.
What's her Instagram?
Is oh my god, it's Linh Tran, but like
There's
not
a thing.
without
There's
the
a thing.
vowels. It's LNHTRN
Got it.
N. So like
Oh.
without the vowels and with an
So it's
extra
Linh
N at the end.
Tran.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like more like there's no vowels.
Yeah. Well, follow her. Follow Lynn
I'm gonna
on
edit
Instagram.
this. I'm gonna edit this goodbye so hard.
At Lindren.
It's so Linden.
Linden, yeah.
Linden.
Yep.
Great. Bye.